On YouTube, good afternoon. I hope you're having a good Saturday. I'm coming to you live from the Crypto Cave. My name is Weston Nelson, and today, super excited about what we're going to be talking about. We've got a special guest who will be joining us more often than not, but is going to make an appearance today to talk a little bit about his own personal journey trading, and that is Hawk Spiritweaver. He's one of the partners in the business of the Crypto Cave, along with myself and Trading Nickels. Just a brief disclaimer before we dive in and talk about Hawk and his background a little bit. Nothing we say here is, of course, to be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research. That's important. And if you are curious about the Crypto Cave, links are in the description. So make sure to check that out. So on that note, Hawk, wanted to just introduce you. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, Weston.
How's your Saturday going?
Not too bad. Too many people up with that.
Well, why don't we dive right in then? Right now, a lot of people are wondering, okay, who is Hawk Spiritweaver? What is your trading acumen? What makes you special? I know all the answers to these things, of course, from chatting with you so frequently. But I think it's important that we share that with everybody. So I know you've been at the trading game, let's call it that, for quite some time. Could you kind of just share, background overall, or how you got into trading, and then ultimately crypto trading?
Sure. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. When I was a kid in the late 60s, early 70s, every Sunday I'd spend down at the grandparents' house, and grandma would be nice and have some hot blueberry muffins for me, and we'd putz around the house and do some things. And then grandfather would pull out the Sunday paper, and out would come the financial section and the 8.5 by 11 graph paper. And we'd sit there at the kitchen table and chart out all of the stocks that he was interested in.
So you were charting as an 8-year-old.
Yeah, 8, 10, 12, all that whole era there. I was doing technical analysis before I knew what technical analysis was.
I was going to say that's a early age to begin doing some TA, I'd say, by most people's standards.
Yep, it was quite the education. I mean, I didn't retain a whole lot of it, but that was the starting point.
And so now, okay, so that's the starting point. And I know there's some obvious jumps in the road that have brought you to where you are now. And kind of where I'd like to go with asking you a question, unless you want to add any more detail to that.
I've got the rest of it, but that would come under how I got to where I am and why do I trade the way I do.
Okay, so something that I've noticed about you. I noticed this about pretty much every good trader, I'd say, almost. And I think this is a critically important, actually, question to ask right off the bat. Is I noticed that good traders are very methodical, are very disciplined, probably is the key word that I'm looking for. You have that characteristic, very much so. Some people might even say, are very strong-willed or stubborn in their ways and how they trade. But it is very true that when you find something that works, to stick to it, and you have that, while at the same time being open-minded, and you are malleable in the sense that you listen to other ideas, which I think is wise, and I think that's kind of what makes you good. So could you, a two-part question, why do you do trading the way you do, or how did you come to it, and then what is your overall approach for you that works?
Well, how I got there can be summed up in one word, and that would be pain. The stuff I went through to get to where I am right now, it's in my 30s. I was into stocks a little bit, going back to the grandfather thing. And then that was in the days where you'd call your broker, you'd hope you get the fill you wanted, and then if you wanted to get out, hopefully he'd answer the phone. So,
okay, so pre-internet days.
Oh yes, yep. And then in '96, Daytech came out with their online retail trading platform, and once I found that, that was it. I was in. So
hooked, off to the races.
Yep, and I didn't look back too much from that point on. In fact, my first bad thing, I guess, that happened was on Monday, September 10th, 2001. I saw the market was about to turn around, so all the short positions that I had on, I took off and went long. And we all know what happened Tuesday, September 11th.
Yes, we do.
So when the markets came back about 10 days later, I was pretty well broke. So it took some years off after that. That was pretty devastating. I got a little upset with what was happening, and I went to Iraq and Kuwait 04 to 06. When I came back home, go ahead.
Well, so I was going to say, so I definite change in direction as far as, trading to being somewhere else, doing something quite different.
Well, I was broke. So the opportunity arose for me to go being ex-military. And so I went and fulfilled my contract there and extended it a little bit, and then came back. I had some money, and I started back into the stocks again, bought a little of this, little of that, and then I found Forex.
Okay.
And that was quite the adventure there. My first account, I blew up about $10,000, I think, the first week.
Sorry, I don't need to laugh about that.
No,
but...
go ahead. I laugh all the time. The next one's even funnier. The second account I blew up was closer to 100,000.
Oh, that sounds painful, but I think
it was.
Yeah.
So
you paid your tuition.
Oh God, did I ever? I got a PhD in how to lose. So during that time, I started looking at indicators more, and I will bet you that in the search for the holy grail of trading indicators, I went through hundreds of indicators, RSIs, MACDs, Elliott wave theory, combinations of which is moving first, where's the price action, what's going on here, how did this work?
Sure.
And it never failed that every time I'd enter a trade, within 5 minutes, it was going against me. So,
well, this is a lot of the stuff that we've talked about, right? Where I'm saying, well, there's this indicator here, and then, kind of I alluded to this. You always come back to, well, I've got my method, and this works well. And I'm like, well, have you thought about this indicator? And that's what I respect about the discipline you have, where you have your system that you've refined, obviously through lots of testing. And it works. And why, what I like, I guess what I'm trying to say is what I like is that you're continually open to things and expand it, but as long as something works, why stop doing it? Especially when it comes to
exactly. It's your money you're playing with. It's not, you're not playing marbles down the street. So you got to be careful. And you have to be consistent. And what I found over the years is that the simpler, the better. If you look at my charts, I have 3 moving averages on there, and I watch the price action. I'll pull back to a weekly chart first, look and see what I can see on that. Where's the support and resistance? What does that look like? Then I'll go down to a daily chart and do the same thing. And if you look at my charts, you'll see the yellow thick lines. Those are the major points of resistance that I mark out. And then you've got some thinner white lines, which is what I put on when I narrow it down to a 4-hour or a 15-minute chart and say, okay, these are going to be key levels. So that's
simplicity is ultimately what I heard mostly.
right. When you're looking at 3, 4, 5 indicators on your charts, you got information paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to look at first, and what is going to confirm what you're thinking, and what are you going to make your trade on?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm trying to think of the quote. There was somebody, I don't know if it was Leonardo da Vinci or Albert Einstein, but somebody said the best form of genius is simplicity or something like that. You just reminded me of it when you were talking about your quote, or what you said. And I couldn't agree more, because I've seen chartists and TA wizards who've got a chart pulled up, and it's like I'm looking at a like a spider web. I'm like, how are you discerning anything meaningful from this? And you just come back to your 3 EMAs all the time, and statistically, it's very effective. And so I can appreciate the simplicity, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well, thank you. And the key, besides it being simple, is that you follow the rules. And if you can get yourself trained, right, if you can get yourself trained to do that, you'll be consistent. Whether you're consistently winning or consistently losing, it really doesn't matter, because then you can make adjustments.
Yes, absolutely. So on that note, we've got this chart pulled up of Bitcoin here. I hope you don't mind me pulling this might be, you may remember this or not, but we're looking at the Bitcoin price all the way back to February to the current moment.
Yep.
And I recall in early April, maybe April 5th or 1st or early April, but euphoria was spreading, was here, I should say. People were, Bitcoin's going to 200,000, 300,000 by, right? I know that you were aware of it, and you were watching, you're making good long trades, good short trades. But I also recall right around that time, there was somebody sounding an alarm bell, and that was you. What do you remember this? Can you walk me through what led you to that conclusion? You were obviously spot on in hindsight, and I think it's important that people know what did you see, right? So that maybe they can learn from it. But B, like what compelled you to say, hey, we better slow down.
Sure.
Niagara Falls is fast approaching, is essentially what the message I took away that you shared.
Yeah, well, yeah, towards the end of February, when Bitcoin ran up real nice, real fast, up to 58,000, I was right with everybody else. Yeah, let's go. But then right after that, we had a couple huge down days, and Bitcoin retraced down to where I had some support at 45,000. And I was thinking to myself, is this going to bounce and go back up, or are we going down? And it decided it was going back up. Now, see, one of the things I was looking at back then was the CME at the end of December had a gap at the 24,000 mark. So I was always aware of that in the back of my mind and looking to see if that might fill. Now, gaps fill a majority of the time. They don't have to, and sometimes they don't. But that was one I was aware of. Then we had that next run up in March, the middle of March, and then another pullback. And that next pullback into the end of March was what we found out later was the left shoulder of the Head and Shoulders formation.
Yeah, and what's that price right there? If I can't see.
That was 51.2, right around 51,200.
Yep.
And
yeah, and then we moved. Where do we peak? Right at 65, or no? What is this right here? 60. Yeah, 63.
Yeah, I was trying to tell people they're taking profit. There's a possibility that this to 63.
I think you're cutting out a little bit. Could you hold on one sec, or maybe I ask if can everybody hear us? Okay, here. Maybe I'll pull down the chart for one sec. Just want to make sure we're getting your audio here.
Well, I get my internet.
Okay, there we go.
You got me?
That sounds, yep, loud and clear.
Okay.
So yeah, we were at the peak. So we were riding up here, and that's where I cut you off.
Yeah, so the end of March, the first week of April was when I was telling people to take profit, at least some of it off the table. This is looking a little scary to me. And then, of course, we shot up to the high, which was an interesting point in time for that to do that. Because what was coming out on April 14th, I believe it was the Coinbase listing.
Yes, an important IPO.
Yes, and that was the perfect opportunity for the big boys to take some profit off the table, and they did.
And did they ever?
Yes, all the way down to 49,200.
Yes,
which ended up being the neckline. We found out later.
Yeah,
and it shot back up one more time up to about 59,000, and then that was it. She came down. I had already noticed the head and shoulders, and so I had that neckline already drawn. And so when it broke 46.9, that was it.
That's what was my question was. So were you prepared for that to be kind of what's the term I'm looking for, like a dead cat bounce, or
that was the point, that if that neckline broke, it was going down the rest of the way.
We're free falling from there.
Correct.
Basically.
Yeah, and if you look at the the moving averages at that point, they were real strong down. There was great divergence between the price and the moving averages. That put the pressure on.
Well, I mean, look at the space. I mean, just the space between the 21 and, or the is it the 21 that you have in white there?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can visually see. It's pretty easy to look at now when you give the narrative. It's like, well, yeah, that was pretty obvious.
Yep. So that's what I do. So and I try to teach people and make them aware, have a plan when you're trading, all that stuff that it took me years to finally make into a plan where I can profitably trade the markets. Okay,
so now that kind of leads me into do you mind? Is there anything else you wanted to hit on this chart, or
no? That's good.
So I was going to ask you then to kind of just to wrap up. We just wanted to get you on here to share I know you're in the crypto cave, sharing your charts, sharing your insights, which we appreciate so much. People learn from so much, but so. Now, with what what do you want to share with people? What do you want to help people to learn trading? Why, or what's your purpose of sharing this info?
Sure. Well, Weston, you, David, and I, over the last 7 months, we've become friends, and we've learned to trust each other. And another project that we were involved in was good, but we thought we could do something better. And when you approached, when we all started talking again, the crypto cave idea came up, and a big old light bulb went off in my head. And it's like, wow, the things that we can do. If we can build trust and show people use and how we can help them to become more confident in themselves, more financially independent, build a future. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and those are things that we actually can do now because of the interconnectedness and information age that we live in. Whereas before, even as the internet has grown, there never was like the way Discord works now. You can just real time hop on and teach people things. And connect so much more. In our community, it feels like you're at home with your friends. It's like, and that's just because of the advancement of technology, I think. And so when you're in there talking about stuff, it's like I feel like I'm just talking to my buddy who's saying, hey, keep an eye on this.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having a community that you can fall back on and ask questions to. And, I love it when somebody disagrees with my analysis, because then you've got an opportunity to look at it even closer and listen to somebody else's side of the story and question yourself. Hey,
absolutely.
And that's what you get engaged in the community, where people can ask questions. Hey, what are you into? What are you looking at? What do you think is going to happen? That's what makes everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like well, when you start asking questions and you can start answering answering tough questions, it makes you a better trader. It makes you inquire into your own methods deeper, I think.
It does.
So yeah, just all around is better. So yeah, no. So thank you for answering that. I'm just curious, as to what is kind of what's driving you today then, as far as sharing everything. And yeah, no, I'm obviously super excited about the crypto cave. I think it is something that just kind of happened organically, and the name is perfect for what we're trying to accomplish. And it's about having that culture and that community where people who want to trade crypto and want to share information can go and have as their hub. And I love that. So and I know you do too. So it's good to have you, of course, I should say, and it's good to have you on the live stream here too as well. So thank you for hopping on.
Hey, thank you.
And yeah, any closing remarks that you'd want to leave us with? I know we've been on for 20 minutes. Do we have any questions?
Yeah. If no questions, I do have one last thing to say.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I see some comments here from Trading Nichols explaining his name. Yeah, no, go ahead. Absolutely.
Well, what I would say to people that hear this broadcast is, if you haven't checked out the Crypto Cave, that the gold membership, you get a free 2-week trial. You don't have to even use your credit card to get in it, and just check it out and give it 2 weeks, see what you think, make suggestions. We're always taking suggestions. We're community oriented, so give it a shot. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely. And I just thought of one more thing while you were saying that. Have you ever been told you have a great voice for radio?
Well, I've got a great face for radio.
I was just gonna say you sound like a professional broadcaster coming through, at least on the output on my end. So
we'll wait for the reviews to come out.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So perfect. Well, why don't we cap it there? Let everybody go enjoy their Saturday afternoons wherever you are. Hopefully it's beautiful weather out. Again, this is Hawk Spiritweaver, who we had on, one of the co-founders of the Crypto Cave, sharing his really kind of priceless, I'd say, invaluable knowledge. And if this is something that you're interested in, come join us. Come hang out in the Crypto Cave. It's fun, and there is a 2-week free trial. So take advantage of it. Come soak up some information, share what you've got, ask questions, and we hope to see you in the channels. So again, Hawk, thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you, I'm sure, in Discord shortly.
All right. Well, thanks, Weston. You have a good afternoon too.
All right. Cheers. Bye.